Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's SiteSwan Ask Me Anything coaching session, where you are encouraged to ask me anything. And not only will I be answering your questions, but I have a team of 3 moderators who are here to help get your questions answered as well. Their responsibility is going to help me get the questions that most of you probably have on your minds that'll help as many people as possible answered live, so that everyone walks away with something helpful. I see a lot of new names on today's coaching call. This is awesome. Welcome all. I'd like to start these off, for those of you who don't know, with everyone chiming in a little bit about their status, so to speak. So I'd like you to find the questions tab, which is on the bottom. It's a question mark inside of a circle. And in there, I'd like you to say hello and also tell me, how long have you been on the platform, and how many sites do you have sold, or how many clients do you have? So how many days, weeks, months, or years you've been with SiteSwan, and how many sites or clients that you have live. That's going to give me a feel for the makeup of today's session, which will likely also help me figure out the direction we go in with some of these questions and how I answer them. So questions tab on the bottom, it's a question mark inside of a circle. Click it and then post it. Now, I want to also tell you that throughout our conversation today, you're going to use this questions tab to ask anything that's on your mind. And we do not have this set up where you can see each other's questions. That's by design, for privacy purposes and to keep things distraction free. So whatever you type into this box, only myself and my moderators can see, nobody else who's here. But I see a lot of you are chiming in already. Here we go. So we got Sonia, who's fresh on board, 1 week. Welcome, Sonia. We have Cosman. I always do this, Cosman. Cosman? Can you just tell me, is it a short O or a long O? And then we can just put this to bed and I could pronounce your name perfectly from now on. That'd be great. Long O, Cosman. Thank you. Cosman has been with us for 6 weeks, sold his first site today. Hey, with a logo design as well. Very nice. Very nice. I already forgot if you said long or short now. Long. Cosman. If I say it enough times, I'll remember it. Keith says, I've been on board 1 week. Welcome, Keith. Steven just joined last week. Excellent. Meyer, what's up? 3 years this January. 39 done and fun. I love it. We missed you the last couple times, Meyer. Pedro says, as a new reseller, he's got a question already. We're going to get to that in a minute. But if you're brand new, I'm assuming that perhaps, you don't have any sites sold yet, which is perfectly fine. That's very, very normal. Michelle's been with us for a few weeks. 1 paying client that she got on Tuesday, even though they haven't finished training. Sweet. Love to hear that, Michelle. Adam just signed up 6 days ago, working on his website, and has been working on 1 client. Glenn just signed up this week. I think we chatted a little bit via email, Glenn. Welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. Stephen is asking a question. That's excellent. Antonio is from Florida, having a problem with the audio. Antonio, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't necessarily reboot. I want you to try refreshing first. Sometimes in this Livestorm application, if you click refresh, things magically fix themselves. I don't know. Hopefully. Sean's been with us for a month. No sales yet, but it's got some leads. That's excellent. Andre, 11 sites. Nice. With 3 more on the way. Holy cow. I love it. Gorata, hello. Just joined less than a week. Welcome aboard. Kuzman, he's telling me now. Kuzman, not Kozman. Kuzman. Got it. So there's a third option. I didn't realize that. I didn't think there was a third option. There was long or short. No. Kuzman. Pedro says, I'm brand new. I just left my corporate remote Medicare sales job to sell website design full time. That's what I'm talking about, Pedro. So you got the sales chops. You are going to be golden. Chuck says, I've been around for about 12 hours. Nice. Nice. James, 1 week. Meyer chimes in, has got 9 in the funnel. This is fantastic. Pedro says, I got 2 sales ready to go. Did you make a sale before you joined us, Pedro? I've heard that a couple times before. I would love to know if that happened to you also. Jeannie just signed up last week. So excited to get started. Jay Keller, brand new sign up. 1 client so far? Whoa. Andre is saying, oh, shoot. I'm sorry, 5 months. Okay. Don't worry about it. No one's going to hold you to that. We can always check it. Cool. So we got quite a variety. We got Meyer's been here with us for a really long time. We got folks like Jeannie, who just signed up last week, or who was it who just signed up 12 hours ago? Chuck. So this is great because I think all of you will benefit from hearing the questions that come through. Questions from our seasoned resellers, questions from our brand new resellers. And I want you to take really good notes because I can almost guarantee you're going to come away with something today. It is something people tend to tell me. They walk away with something every single time. And I'm hoping all of you will be able to take something away from our chat today. We have 32 people currently in this room with us, 33 now. So every question that comes through, there's a very high likelihood we can get them answered. Start posting them. Now, I'll tell you also, some of you, I notice you are here and you have been nice enough to submit questions ahead of time. So for those of you who have done that, I'm going to quickly just find them. And we're going to start with one of those questions because I want to make sure that you guys understand that we appreciate when you submit questions ahead of time. And we will get to that. So the first one that I had was from James R., who I'm pretty sure I saw on here, but maybe not. James R., are you on? You're not on. Okay. But I know Pedro was, and Pedro had a question. So was Keith. Okay, good. Pedro says, I have a question. Sorry, when I have a question, is my success coach and support staff available by phone or chat only? If I have phone support, do I have to schedule a Calendly appointment or call direct? I'm having trouble with my words today. Okay, so there are 2 types of support that you're going to find yourself perhaps wanting to get. The first is the most straightforward, how do I do this thing type of support. And for that, you are going to, from your dashboard, click support, and it takes you right to our support console. Look, chances are the answer is going to be here if you just start typing. But I understand if you can't find it, you're going to go to submit a request, give us as many details as you possibly can, and then we'll get back to you promptly with a succinct written answer. All of our help, so to speak, support-related stuff is handled via email written format so that, I promise you, when they've done some studies on this, when you ask a question and get a verbal response, you are, I think it's like 8 times more likely to have that question again in the future and not remember what the response was. But when you have it in written form, you will have it as a permanent record in your email that you could search for and find if you ever have it again. Having things written down is super, super helpful for delivering the best type of support. With that said, if you guys don't already know this, you have been assigned a coach. And that coach is designed to help you get to the point of success as fast as humanly possible. Now, and she's here actually. Ezra is going to help us. She might be responding to some of you right now with your questions. And Ezra's been assigned, I think, to all of you. If you have not been assigned or been given an opportunity to book your first coaching call with us, I want you to type in coaching as a question, and we're going to send you the link to book your first call. Okay? So the bigger questions, the more strategy questions, those things oftentimes can be brought up during a coaching session. Now, I will share one other detail with you. If you have an overly complex issue, which I will say is rare, But if you have an overly complex issue that you feel you can only adequately describe on the phone, you can request a phone call from us in the support ticket and we can arrange for that. We're not going to leave you out to dry, but I will tell you, if you want the fastest response, the most succinct response, you are going to submit a ticket and you will be very delighted with how that response comes through. Another question that came through was from Keith. Keith is here, right? I think I saw Keith's name. Keith. Yes, Keith is here. All right. Keith wrote in before asking, is there a way to help a potential new client to claim their business location on Google Maps by creating a new website? And he gave us more detail. He says, I got a local automotive shop that I've been taking my vehicle to in the past. I was telling him that he needed to set up his business on Google so people knew he was there and be able to look up his phone number. He said that the previous owner still had the location claimed and no one can help him fix that. My thought process was to help him with that in the process of selling him a website for his business, and he doesn't currently have one. So that's brilliant, Keith. That's actually a really great way to start a conversation with someone to be able to get a website sale. And I think you're on the perfect track to success. So oftentimes our clients will tell us and share some stories about claiming a Google business profile. Depending on how long the business has been in existence, it's either a very easy process or it's a somewhat complex process. Gaining access to a Google business profile that's already in existence, you can request access to that. And if you don't get a response from the active owner, you can prove ownership of the business in a multitude of different ways and then be able to take over and claim the business profile. So for those of you who are not aware with this concept, a Google business profile is like, Keith, I'm not going to ask you for the business name, but let me just randomly, whatever, do a pizza in our area. All right. So let me type in this specific business name, Phil's Pizzeria Syosset. So this is what you'll see. Like if you type in a business name very specifically, you'll get what's called a Google business profile. And you'll see that it's got photos and reviews and all sorts of stuff. And then on here, somewhere, you will see the option to, it used to be right here. There's suggest and edit, but that's not it. There's another way to say I own this business, but it's probably already claimed. So here's what you could do. You can go to business.google.com. I don't know why I'm doing a tutorial on this right now, but whatever. So, and then you can actually log out, please. Log out of all accounts. Thank you. So, business.google.com, and you'll see you can click manage now. And all you gotta do is just start typing in, gosh, what the heck is going on? Why can't I do anything I wanted to do without being prompted to log in all the time? Oh my goodness. All right. So you're going to be prompted to put in the business that you are trying to. I can't display this for you guys. Okay. We're not a Google business profile company. Okay. We're a website builder for a reason. There is a way to do this. When you go to business.google.com, you can start typing in the business name and then say, I own this business, and then claim it. I'm not going to get into it. If you guys really want to know, I can dig in deeper, but I'm not going to waste your time on this because they can be a little tricky sometimes. Let's get on to the questions I know I definitely can help you with. Steven says, do you have tips for enhancing a Google business page to improve ranking? Here we go. Back to the Google business profile. So you guys want to know about this, huh? There are some tips that you can do, and you can really rely on what this says right here, the profile strength. Trust Google and their opinion about what makes a profile substantial enough. So this starts off as like a semi-filled circle. And then as you add more and more details, it'll get more and more full. Okay. So along the way, you are going to be prompted to add, as they're telling you, add reviews. You're going to add photos. You're going to add description. You're going to add questions and answers. You can add daily posts if you want. There's a lot of cool things you could do with Google right now, the business profile, that can enhance how it appears to the public. Now, some of you have asked this in the past, can you set up a Google Business Profile for your own company? Yes, you most certainly can. It's not critical and it's not a requirement to get your web design business off the ground, but it is something you can do. Renee says, is a bakery a suitable company to use the e-commerce option? So I'll tell you this, Renee, if you're selling one of your first dozen sites, I would strongly advise that you do not make it an e-commerce website. And the reason for that is that with e-commerce websites tends to come advanced complexity. Not because setting up an e-commerce site is super hard, but because there are so many other aspects of building and managing an e-commerce site that it's going to take you a lot longer and it's going to delay your profitability. So if you have a client, first of all, who says that they want e-commerce, there's a very good chance they're not ready for it. Because in order to do e-commerce, they have to have all the product names, photos, descriptions, pricing, tax, shipping, return policy, everything else all lined up and ready to go, and ain't nobody got that, okay? So what you're going to do and say to the customer is, hey, look, Mr. Bakery, I want to help you out with this, but first I want to prove that there is enough demand for e-commerce before you make that investment, because the site's going to cost more money on a monthly basis and on an upfront basis to get off the ground. Oftentimes, I've been told this personally by small businesses, and you can relay this to them, is that starting an e-commerce website is akin to starting a second business. There is that much involved between, like, you becoming basically a packaging and shipping facility in addition to just a bakery. And that's not something that a lot of bakeries want to sign themselves up for, okay? And also the harsh reality is that, selling stuff online never goes nearly as well as people think it will in terms of volume that they do. Because of all the logistics associated with it, the volume is almost never there where it's actually worth it to do it out of the gates. If you can build a website, get a ton of people to that website, get a ton of people saying, hey, I want to buy your stuff online. Why can't I buy your stuff online? That's when you go to e-commerce. And ideally, that's not a thing you do until after, I like to say, your 10th or your 12th website, because then you've got enough experience under your belt to know what you have to do on our platform and you feel really comfortable doing it. Okay, Jay Keller is saying in the content area, the menu get is in the way and I cannot see what I'm editing. The menu get is in the way. The menu, I'm going to move, get is not there. The menu is in the way and I can't see what I'm editing. So let's just show you something, guys. Like if you're logged into a site, and first of all, if anyone is using a site that they have not taken the time, if anyone is trying to edit a site on a screen other than a laptop, I want you to rethink that, because editing on a laptop is going to give you the absolute best experience to be able to edit the sites. Can you do it on smaller screens? 1,000%. Do I recommend it? No, because there's a lot of things that need to occupy your screen real estate, and the larger screen you have, the better. So I think what Jay Keller is saying is, hey, when I hover over a post and click edit to modify it, I can't see some of what I'm editing. That's perfectly fine and okay, and that's by design. We're doing this so that you can still see some of what you're modifying while having full access to what you're actually modifying over here. So if I take out this text, it reflects instantly on the site in the background. What's also cool about this is I can move this to the other side of the screen. So if I wanted to see exactly how far this word went to the edge of my screen, I can actually bump this entire editor over to the opposite side. So that could make it a little bit easier for you. If I had my screen much, much smaller, okay, then you are definitely going to run into a situation where you start to lose the ability to see a lot of what's going on while you're editing it. So I always recommend have a normal size monitor that you're making edits on, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. Jay Keller also wants to know, can you easily copy a segment from a theme to another? In a website design, I see an element in another and would like to copy it over and not always recreate. I totally get it, Jay. And the short answer to your question is no, we don't have the ability to duplicate or move an entire post to a different site. There's just too many elements there you have to worry about between fonts, images, colors, all this sort of stuff. So we don't allow that. It cannot be done, but it's easy enough to recreate it. And I just want to help you out understanding how that can be done. So let's say I wanted to recreate this post here. when I click on edit, first of all, we tell you what the name of the section is. So that means when you go to your other site and click add new section, click the hero image section, and I'll be able to recreate this perfectly. Okay, that's step one. Then step two is you can copy and paste any and all this text and bring it right into the editor on the other site, and everything will lay in beautifully. Now, if you have different fonts selected on the other site, then those will be reflected. If you have different colors, of course, those will be reflected. Your button is right here. Make sure it's turned on. Here's what the text says, and here's where it goes. So obviously, if it's going to a contact us page on this site, make sure you point it to the contact page on the other site. And then for the actual image from the style tab, all you have to do is go to the replace image option, find the image that's being selected. How do you know which one is selected? It's got an orange box and a check mark on it right here. Click the magnifying glass to zoom in and save this image. Save this image and then re-upload it to the site that you're working on. And then pop it into the image gallery and select it there. The only other element you're going to want to look out for is going to be the overlay color. So what's really cool about the hero image post is that you can overlay a color on top of the image, and it creates this really cool effect where it builds in some contrast so that the text is more easily legible on the background. Like this is a photo with someone wearing a white shirt. So by nature, your white text is going to be difficult to see on it. But once you apply an overlay on top of the image, it darkens it to this grayish color, and now the white contrasts extremely well with it. Okay? So recreating it is not difficult. Take a look at the layout. You'll be able to do this in just a minute or two, and then you don't have to worry about moving stuff and loading images and other things you don't need onto the new site. But I do like that question. And keep in mind, if you need to, you can clone a post just like I did and then move it to a different page of the existing site. So that is something you can do. Okay. All right. Next up. Now let's look at, another question from Jay. I have a client that wants the phone number, maybe a button to click, and social media at the top in the nav area. No, they don't. No, they don't. So the social media being in the top nav area is a inherently bad practice, and I'll tell you why. This client has worked so hard to get someone to their website. The website is the core of their marketing. The core of their marketing is their website. The last thing you want to do is now tell people to leave. I'll give you two reasons. Number one, they should be able to find the key information they need about the business on the site. They shouldn't have to go off the site to social media for it. Okay. Social media's whole purpose is to get people back to the site. All right. Reason number two, there is something called a bounce rate. And the bounce rate is actually something that's measured on the stats tab of your site. And the bounce rate is defined by the percentage of people who come to the site and then leave after viewing only the homepage. This number needs to be as low as possible in order for the site to be deemed quote unquote sticky by the search engines. If they see people are coming to the site and staying on the site for more than one or two clicks, they are going to deem the site worthy of getting more and more search results. So there is no need, no desire, it's actually bad practice to include the social icons in the header. Let's let them scroll for it. And a lot of our themes do come with links to social media. If they don't appear in one of the posts, you can absolutely always find them on the bottom in what we call the reference panel. And if you add social icons down here, which you can do by clicking on edit, and then you can use the connect option, and you can copy and paste any and all social URLs in here. These will automatically be on the bottom of every single page of the website, which is the ideal location, so we're not distracting people and pulling them off the site. Okay. As for phone number, that was a question that was asked as well. You're saying, well, hey, people might want to call me, and I totally get that. But I want to show something to you. When people are calling, they're doing so from mobile. And when you do that on mobile, I want to show you what that looks like. You have two different ways to set up your client sites on the SiteSwan platform for mobile responsiveness. The first way is with the menu bar up here and then a slide out navigation. The second way, which you can edit from the site details page of the site. Let me show you. Site details, I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm going to select small screen navigation option, show icons. Now, when I go to save this and I load up my site again, and I click refresh, you are going to see that the mobile version now includes icons for contact. Did I do the wrong site? I did the wrong site, guys. It's Safer Foundation. Hello, Earth to Justin. Safer Foundation. I bet my monitor is like, I saw that, didn't want to say anything. All right. We make that change, save it, refresh here, go to mobile, and you're going to see we now have icons for calling, map, and hours. So when someone's on mobile, they can quickly tap this right at the top of their screen and call the business. That is deemed a very important action and one that Google loves to see. It's like, wow, you found real purpose by coming to the site. You've tapped or called, and that is important. So for any business that I'm going to label, well, let's be honest, any business that wants more phone calls, you are going to make sure that this mobile layout option is selected to optimize the likelihood for people to click to call. All right. Chuck is asking, what database or where does the prospecting tool pull its information from? Great question, Chuck. So Chuck is talking about the local prospecting tool, which many of you have already played with. If not, go do it because that's awesome. And the local prospecting tool is pulling data from various different locations, but is referencing Google business profile data to cross-reference. So back to Google. Today's a very Google business profile heavy conversation day. If the business, when you type in their name, has a profile like this on the right side of the screen, there's a 90-something% chance that you are going to find them in the search results for local prospecting. One exception is if they do not have a physical address listed. Who's not going to have a physical address? Well, some service-based industries tend to not have that. So like an electrician or a HVAC contractor or some general contractors might not list their physical address because it's their home, carpet cleaning companies, whatever. So sometimes if you do a search for carpet cleaning, like, oh, I could have sworn there are more companies in this area that exist. Go check it. Go into Google, do a quick search and double check it. And you might find some who don't have a physical address. And then you can obviously go check those folks out as well. So hopefully that gives you some sense of what to expect with the local prospecting tool. And then, okay, so Chuck was saying, I'm looking for my own company that I've had for 10 years but didn't show up. So maybe that's the reason, Chuck. Maybe you can confirm that. Like, I don't have my business address listed on Google. Chances are that's what the relationship is. Okay. Going back to that e-commerce question from earlier about the bakery, Renee is saying, also the customer only wants to sell specific items online for pre-order pickup. Sell items online for pre-order pickup. That's a whole different level of e-commerce, right? Because then it's like we don't need to accept money over the phone, over the internet, because we could just collect money from them in person. And what's interesting too, a lot of studies have been done about this, is that, ordering ahead is that it greatly reduces the average ticket size. When people go in and then pay for it when they're present in the shop, that's when they're more likely to put add-ons onto the bill and end up spending a lot more. So that is something to consider, for what it's worth. That's right. I'm drinking coffee out of my SiteSwan mug. Actually, you know what? Let's have some fun with this today. We've been talking a lot about Google business profiles. I'm going to give you all the opportunity to earn yourself a mug just like this. Coffee always tastes better in it. All right. We haven't done this in a really long time. If you would like yourself a nice SiteSwan mug, come on over to our Google business profile and click this and go ahead and click leave review, which I can't because I'm logged in, but whatever. Anyone who types in review, my moderators, send a link to this, please. Anyone who does that, I'm not asking you for a positive review. I mean, I'd love one. I'd love if you gave us a positive review, but I'm not allowed to say that. So you leave a review, you screenshot it, email us, info@siteswan.com. We will send one of these beautiful mugs out to you, okay? Just in time for the holidays, you can gift it to your loved one. I'm sure they will deeply, deeply appreciate that. All right, just say review in the questions tab. We'll respond with the link. And email us, info@siteswan.com, with a snapshot of what you posted for the review, and you will get your mug. Kuzman is saying, so when I have the header transparent and also change the site background to the same picture so it can be transparent, that image carries on when you click on another page and it looks not so good on top. Let me show you guys something that Kuzman's talking about, okay? For those of you who are brand new, you might have seen a concept where this image that appears here will go up into the header area. This is a question that usually doesn't come up from people who are brand new. Usually it's after the 5th or 10th or 20th site that they've built. They're like, hey, I kind of seen this thing. I like to do it. Let me show you what Kuzman's talking about. So what we have here is a white header, and then we have this hero image with this image, which is very dramatic. So I'm going to go check my settings on this. I have my overlay color to 50%, all zeros. So here's what I'm going to do. From my pages section, I'm going to go to my header, and I am going to, what's it called? I am going to set up my header opacity to 50%. And I want to make this all zeros. And save that. Okay. I'm going to have to change my navigation color to something else because I want contrast. Okay. Let's save that. And that is good. Now you're like, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? Because if I go to my site background section from the design dropdown, I can put an image back here. So I'm going to choose the exact same image that appears in my header, which is this one. Click OK. And look at that little magic trick. Now I have the same image blending right into my header area. And that creates a very dramatic, cool effect. Now, what the thing that is being brought up by Kuzman, and he's like, hey, I don't know if I love the fact that my my image back here is going to be on every single page of the site. The right image won't look catastrophic on the interior pages of the site. Some images might, but this, what's really cool about, I'm going to teach you another trick, okay, Kuzman, is that if you have page headers on the top of each and every one of your pages, then guess what? Do the same thing with that. So click edit over here, go to style. Let's add a background image. That's the exact same one. And I'll just let you guys know one thing. You got to make sure this is set to parallax, okay? Parallax scrolling, it's a little tidbit for you. That's what's going to give you this dramatic effect, okay? So we're going to change our overlay color to black, and we are going to make sure it's set to 50% so it matches. And look at that. We have just made this seamless and much more attractive. So Kuzman, I hope that answers your question. If you have that image back there, if it's the right image, you won't care that it's in the background of every single page. But if you do care, then blend it in to the first post on the page to make it look really good. You can even take it a step further, and you can make this post do the exact same thing. Okay, so if you want, let's just do it. So I'm going to change my background image. Make this side all fancy. Overlay color, black. Save it. Bump it down to 50%. And then click on save. Look at that. That is a very attractive header that will carry over from the home page into the about page and all the rest of your pages as well. Add some drama. Could be nice. All right. Meyer is saying, why not promote reputation management showing what Google reviews does? Thank you, Meyer. Meyer's obviously um, sold reputation management a couple times. So for anyone who has not yet explored reputation management, those of you who are brand new, I want to make sure you understand this, that reputation management is the concept of helping businesses understand what's being said about them online, helping them stay on top of it, respond to the reviews, and also optimize the number of 4 and 5-star reviews they're getting. So let's do a really quick overview on this. And I don't want to muddy the waters at all with web design versus reputation management, but you are going to find lots of times that it might be easier to start a conversation with a client regarding their online reviews. Or you're going to find that it's the perfect complement to web design because more online reviews means better website visibility in search results. So from any site in your dashboard, you will have the option to set up reputation management. More specifically, you can create a free sample report, which looks like this. And the sample report doesn't cost you anything. You just put in their Google business profile name, you put in their Facebook URL if you have it, their Yelp review if you have it, those are optional. And then we'll generate a report just like this. We'll show their average star rating across the board, total number of reviews they have online, the reviews broken down by star rating and then broken down by source, and then every single review that's ever been said about them online across those platforms ever. You present this to them and watch how easy it is to sell reputation management for $99 to $199 per month on top of the website, okay? This alone, you tell your client, imagine if I was able to drop this in your inbox every single day or every single time you got a new review, so you can always stay up to date on what's being said about you online, no matter where it's being said. Very valuable service, but that's only half of it. That's only half of it. So this is what you use to effectively sell the service. Then, once you have them signed up, you're going to create a page on their site that looks like this. It's called Leave a Review. And there's this intelligent review request form that, based on the number of stars that they click, will allow them to quickly and easily take that review and put it public. If it's 4 or 5 stars. If it's 1, 2, or 3, we're instead going to show them a place where they can privately communicate with the business to get their issue resolved, which helps everybody. The client can get their problem solved and be heard, and the business owner can avoid the idea of a 1, 2, or 3-star going public. So this intelligent review request form is incredibly effective at maximizing the number of 4 and 5-star reviews that go public and minimizing the number of 1, 2, and 3 stars review that go public. Okay? This 1-2 punch of daily reporting and then maximizing 4 and 5-star reviews is what you are going to be selling for between $99 and $199 per month in addition to the website. You might sell it before, you might sell it after. You might bundle it with your website. That's another option. You will have a mention of this on your reseller marketing website. If you go to the pricing page, for those of you who haven't launched your marketing website yet, you are going to see the option there where we talk about it. So if someone comes to your site to learn more, they're interested in getting the full story, they'll see that available to them. And we have plenty of videos, plenty of support articles that go into even deeper detail, if you want it, about how to go and sell this. But it's an incredibly effective means to increase the amount that you are charging each and every client. And that's something that you're going to see over and over again. If you watch our interviews that we do with our active resellers, almost every single one of them are going to speak about selling additional services to the client. So they're not just getting that $50 to $150 per month for the website by itself. They're adding on additional services, some that are built into the platform like this, and others that perhaps aren't. But they're finding what the need is, they're stacking the value, and they're selling them more and more and more. So reputation management does come with an additional fee, $14.99 for the daily reporting and the intelligent review request form. But again, you do not pay for this until you've got them signed up. You do not pay for this until you've generated the free sample report, showed it to them, wowed them, and sold them on it. Then you can go in and get the $14.99 added to your monthly bill. We don't want to see anyone paying for this unless you have an active paying client for it. Okay? Thank you, Meyer. I hope you've got some reputation management clients that you're managing. Jay Keller is saying, can you make the nav menu stick? I can't talk about upcoming features, but it's an upcoming feature, like really soon. So sit tight. You're going to like it. That's, some of you might also refer to this as a sticky header. So like what Jay Keller is saying is like, hey, when I scroll, I want like this header area to just stay there. And some people like it, some people don't, but enough of you liked it and asked about it that we are moving this up and it's going to be released very soon. See, that's why you got to be here, right? Because if you're in these calls, you get that kind of information that we don't make public about upcoming features, things like that. Now, I can often get myself in trouble talking about upcoming features because I make promises that my team is like, we cannot do that by the day that you said. So I can't be very specific about when, but it's nearing the top of the list. Okay. All right. Jay Keller is also saying, see, Jay came to play. All right. Jay is like, no. I'm going to ask as many questions as you guys actually take time to answer. Keep them coming. By the way, you guys have all wrote in 103 questions. No, more than that. Over 100 questions already. And some of them aren't questions, they're statements, whatever, that's fine. But you guys are kicking butt today. I love this. And I hope that you're looking at the responses to your questions because my moderators are doing what seems to be a fantastic job with getting you prompt and succinct answers. Jay's saying, the prospecting via Facebook. Any good suggestions? There's a ton of groups that I see and have started to join, but looking for something good and efficient. Any idea to go after companies that are all about Facebook only? Crazy, I know. Yeah, so let me say this to you. In the 14-day launch plan, which, guys, if you have not started looking through yet, start. And this 14-day launch plan, by the way, with this ugly mug on it, is exactly what you are going to be walked through when you join the coaching calls. Ezra and you are going to become buddies, and you are going to take this step by step. There are 3 phases of the 14-day launch plan. The first is social outreach. The second is warm outreach. The third is cold outreach. And in that first section, Jay, is where we talk about prospecting via Facebook. And we get super, super specific, not only about how and what to say, but also the types of groups to go after and even what you say in those groups. So we've thought of it. We've answered it. Please go and explore this launch plan. There's videos for each and every section. You will not regret it. And by the way, if you do come across someone who's like, yeah, I don't need a website. I've got Facebook. Look, that's crazy pants. I know it's crazy, but sometimes we can't effectively and succinctly tell someone why that's so crazy. And we kind of feel funny telling them it's crazy, right? So this document right here is going to clearly and concisely advise people away from using their Facebook page as their website for, I think it's like 12 key reasons. And there's a lot of them, okay? I'll just give you 2 really quickly. Number 1, people often search for local businesses at work. Guess what site work environments tend to blacklist their employees from visiting while they're working? Facebook. So if they're trying to do it from a laptop or even do it from the Wi-Fi network for work, they ain't going to be able to see it. Also, you have to be logged in to view the majority of content that's on Facebook. If you're not logged in, or you don't have a Facebook account, or you can't be logged in at work, again, something like that, you will not be able to see the stuff that the business is posting, so they're invisible. A website requires no login and is never blacklisted by an office environment that someone might be trying to access it from. There's a lot more reasons. Check out this document. It's in the resources section of your dashboard. All right, Sammy's saying, in order for a client to benefit from the monthly search engine submission, shouldn't the client make changes to their site on a monthly basis? For example, adding a new blog article. If there's no changes to the site month to month, does that service matter? Yes, Sammy, and I'll tell you why. Because the search engines will, in an ideal scenario, updating the site with even one word every month would be nice. But the search engines are looking at not only updates, but they're looking at your willingness and eagerness to invite them to look at the site. So just by them being told, because basically what you're doing is like you're knocking on their door. I'm like, hey, Google, come check out this site. And they have sort of like this obligation to do so. So you're much more likely to have them crawl your site with every ping that you give them. Now, besides content, okay, they do look at a variety of other things about the site. So one of them is kind of like the code behind the scenes, how the site is built. Now, we're constantly playing this cat and mouse game with all the search engines to make sure that the sites are fully compatible and optimized for every single device, operating system, tablet, smartphone, you name it. That's one of the things you offer your clients with the monthly service fees. We like to call it perpetual compatibility. So your clients will never have to pay you to rebuild their site so that it's compatible with the latest browser that comes out. Okay. You'll never find quote unquote old technology in the framework of your site that is in some way conflicting or not compatible with the most commonly used latest technology. So every time, because we're making those updates basically weekly. And when they come back to view the site, they're looking beyond the content. They're looking behind the scenes as well. And they're seeing, oh, okay, this site is up to date with this latest thing that we're liking to see in sites. Kudos to them. So there's a lot of things that the search engines will look at besides the content. But the more updates you make, so long as they're intelligent and relative to the business, the better. One of the things that I like seeing our clients do is having what we call quarterly conference calls with your clients, where you've set up a cadence with them where you talk with them every 3 months. And you say, hey, look, update me. What's going on with the business? What's different since we last chatted? And you're going to find them telling you a whole slew of things. Lots of different things change from month to month, week to week inside of a business, but they don't think to tell you that because they just kind of assume that everybody knows. So having those quarterly conference calls is really great to be able to get some updates from them. Sometimes it'll be a minor little update. Sometimes it'll be a new section on the page. Sometimes it'll be a new page. And guess what? You charge them for it. Every one of those quarterly conference calls is healthy to build that relationship up. And you're going to find them asking you questions like, hey, Sammy, how can I get more people to my website? How can I do this better? How can I do that better? Can you help me solve this problem that I have? And if you're a good listener, you're going to find all these different opportunities to sell your clients more and more stuff that they need and want and ask for. So pay attention and do the thing. And that makes me think of another question that came in before. Who asked this ahead of time? Oh, Sammy, you had some questions too, didn't you? I'm going to see if I can get to those in just a minute. But we had someone say, where is it? My gosh. I can't find it. I forgot what it was too now, and I'm looking for it. I do not know. I'm sorry. Sammy, let me get to your questions that came in. So Sammy says, how can I add anchor links? So guys, what Sammy is saying is he's got someone on the about page. No, let's do a better example. Someone on the home page, and he wants to link this learn more button to the chronic pain management section of the Our Services page. So he wants to link them right here. Okay. We have an article on this that clearly states exactly how to do this. Now, I will say it's going to involve you having to look at a little snippet of code because we don't have a quote unquote formal feature for this, but we're working on that too. So, but you can do it right now. So anyone who wants to learn about anchor links, just type in anchor as a question, and my team will send you the support article on that so that you can get the step-by-step walkthrough of how to do that. I think 2 of you actually wrote in about this question, so hopefully that will be helpful. Sammy also said, do you have plans to create a theme for the courier/messenger industry? So we don't have anything on the agenda like coming up next. And I'll tell you why, Sammy. The way this works is that we welcome and encourage anyone and everyone to give us ideas for themes because we put them on a big master list. And when they get more popular, we do them. But a lot of you about 6 months ago said, listen, I don't want to wait for one. Can I just prioritize it by paying you? And we're like, you know what? I guess that actually does make sense because if you're eager enough to get a theme design that you're willing to pay for it, then you know what? We'll bump it to the top of the list. It must be important to you. It's probably important to other people. So we basically will take any theme request that you have that you want built out. And for $99, I think we do it for $99. I think it's $99. 99. Thank you, Brian. $99, and we will create the theme for you. It takes about a week, but you'll have a fully fledged, built out theme that you can use over and over and over again for all the businesses in that industry that you want to build a site for. So we're getting a little low on time here, but other questions that came through. All right, so I'm gonna bring this one thing up that Tammy, who's not with us today, but guys, I want you to go over to YouTube and I want you to check out this video. We just put it up 3 days ago. It's an interview I did with one of our resellers who's almost always on these calls. Tammy's almost always on these. And she's a rock star and she's kicking butt. And she's got some really great stories and some really great advice. I think you'll all benefit from watching this video. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up is because she messaged us prior to this call and said, I have at least 4 customers who have paid and are paying monthly for their site, but they haven't contacted me and officially approved it or even set it live. I've spoken to some of them, left messages for all, and I send monthly reminders telling them that via text, email, and phone message. Even though the site is not live, it's on my hosting, it's on my plan, I'm technically paying for it, so I'm charging them for it. What do you think I could do or should I do? So I'll be honest with you, Tammy's obviously a very effective salesperson because usually, in all my experience, I've never started charging a client unless the site is actually live. So kudos to you, Tammy, for not taking any, BS from people who are dragging their feet. You sold them the site. They said yes to it. They agreed to the terms. You're charging them. Good for you. But I think what you're doing is the right thing. And Tammy's going to watch this later. So I think the best thing, if you ever find yourself in that situation, just nag them. Like your most difficult job right now is just to nag them. Text, email, call. Hey, the site's ready. Hey, the site's ready. I'm still charging you. Remember, we want to get the site live. Hey, what's the domain login? Ask them, do you have an assistant? Do you have an office manager I can talk to? Call the office. Reach them any which way you can. Shows that you are eager to fulfill the promise that you've made to get their site in working condition and live. If you got this pit in your stomach about it though, and you're like, oh man, I gotta have this site live. I don't want to lose this client because they're not doing the thing. Here's what you do. Go buy them a domain name and point it live. You're going to say, oh, Justin, they've already got a site. Who cares? Who cares? If they're not getting back to you and their site stinks, which it probably does, go to cheapandeasydomains.com, go and buy a domain name for them, point the darn thing to the site that you created, and your next text message, email, or phone call is going to say, hey, Mr. Client, great news. Your site's live at www.yourbusiness.com. Hope you love it. I know I do. Let me know if you got questions. Now you have officially done the thing that you promised them you would do. Okay? Okay. We are getting ready to wrap this up. I will take one last question. And as you guys are thinking of that question or typing it in, one last reminder, if you all want a really cool mug like this, go find, is it actually mirrored or is that just me? Because when I hold this up, it's mirrored, but I'm curious if you guys see it mirrored also. I will assure you that the mug that you get will not be mirrored. Okay. He'll actually say SiteSwan and not, how would you pronounce that backward? Nauseous. So, oh yeah, what am I saying? If you want this mug, go to Google, type in SiteSwan Website Builder, click to leave a review, or say review in the questions tab. We'll send you a direct link. Post a review, send us a screenshot to info@siteswan.com, and we will mail you a mug. All right. Any last questions before we wrap up? Let me just see if, because my moderators are kicking butt here, just answering question after question. Their fingers probably hurt. I just want to see if anyone has a question that was answered that I might just want to quickly tackle. Oh, Adam says, what about shopping sites like Etsy, for example? So, Adam, we have got this really cool theme. Oh, do we have this theme? Am I making this up that we have an Etsy like creator theme? Oh no. Yes, guys, check this out. So we have this for like handmade soaps and gifts, whatever. Repurpose it for whatever you want. Doesn't have to say soaps and gifts. But what this is designed for is to create a sort of landing page slash full-blown web, well, it's really a full-blown website for a business that's selling on Etsy or selling on one of those other sites. So because let's be honest, Etsy takes a percentage. They might throttle your visibility. I know lots of people who sell on Etsy who say all the time, it's like it's feast or famine. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting these orders. And then like they change one thing in the algorithm and you get zero for months. So having a website that talks about the fact that you can sell on Etsy will drive direct traffic to the Etsy profile and help you achieve better results inside of Etsy. So if you've got someone selling on Etsy, a great thing to sell them is a website that's standalone, that's completely, platform agnostic, because when there is a competitor to Etsy, which there are already a few, they can now point, okay, you want to buy from here, or buy from there. And that website does a really good job of that. So that could be a really good way to sell sites. What else? What else? What else? All right. So I'm going to keep looking through these. In the meantime, in the questions tab, I want you to post one key takeaway. What's one thing that you heard us talk about or heard somebody else ask or an answer or whatever that you feel was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form that you might like to implement or that might change your perspective on how you move forward? One thing. Stephen appreciates the reputation management discussion and the anchor links. Good stuff, Stephen. I hope one of you say that I can be walked through the 14-day launch plan. I hope one of you say that because you guys got to get going there. Social icons in the header issue. Thank you, Kuzman. Adam appreciates the 14-day walkthrough. Awesome. James appreciates the Google Business Profile information. And that's the official name, by the way, Google Business Profile. It used to be called something different, Google My Business. It's called Google Business Profile. Sammy loves the background effect. That's good to know. Awesome. Awesome. Let me just go back to see if anything else. Chuck, your question about a business that doesn't have a website, how do you do a step-by-step sales process? We have all this in the training. So when you go through the training videos, which are over here in the resources section, you are going to understand that clear as day. And then when you go through the 14-day launch plan with your coach, you are going to find that process is going to become crystal clear to you and a lot simpler than you perhaps already think. Oh, this was the other thing that Sammy was asking about was online appointment scheduling. So yeah, Sammy's like, hey, I got this hair salon client, and I know they'd like a feature people can book online. So let me talk briefly about this before we wrap up. Okay. So chances are, if you're dealing with a salon or any like massage or something like that, they are going to have a system where people can book themselves. And that system that's currently on like a laptop or desktop or whatever, 9.5 times out of 10 has an online booking component to it that they don't even realize they have. So it's a link. You take that link, you add a button to the site that says click here to book, and magically they start getting appointments booked into their system they already have in place. But if they're currently working with like a notebook to take appointments, which I don't know if those places still exist, but if they are, great, fine. You can then set them up with a solution like what we recommend. All right, let's go to our support console. And we're going to type in appointment. And you're going to see we have 2 recommended vendors for this. One is called Calendly and one is called Schedulista. There's lots of others, like a lot of others, but these are just 2 that we happen to mention. And we give you the play-by-play on how to set up an account, add the button that allows people to schedule that event, and based on the availability the company says that they have, that's what you are going to add to the site. People can go on there, book it, and be done with it. When it comes to like salons, sometimes there's a little more trickiness to it because like, oh, well, if it's a coloring appointment, it's longer. And if it is a coloring, it's only with this person it's like there could be a lot of moving pieces that make it a little more complicated. But look, if they're still writing appointments down in a book, chances are they will be just fine with the very simple, one link to schedule an appointment, and they'll be just fine with that. Okay. Let me check one last time. I think we are good to go. All right, cool. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this today. Really do appreciate it. We're going to have another one of these in exactly 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks. Mark your calendar. 14 days from now at the exact same time, we're going to get together and do this again. Everyone who chimed in early with the number of sites you've got, how long you've been on board with us, I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. When we reconvene in 2 weeks, maybe you've made some progress by then. Maybe you got through, like, look, that's 14 days away. That's exactly enough time to get 100% through the 14-day launch plan, technically, if you did it every single day, which you don't have to do, but if you did, you'll get at least halfway through the 14-day launch plan. So I hope to see you back here next week, reporting on your progress, and also everyone who will be new at that point will be joining us as well. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Get your mugs. Catch you later.